It's 2200 hours in Banjul. Good evening and welcome to the news. We begin with our top stories tonight. As Gambians prepare for the councillorship by-election, GRTS's Ibrahim Jallo takes a look at the state of preparedness by the Independent Electoral Commission ahead of the polling day. Promoting entrepreneurship, the Ministry of Agriculture orients smallholder farmers on the matching grant scheme. Plus, in sports, the Gambia Football Federation officially launched the broadcast agreement signed with the World Football Governing Body FIFA. And away from home, Ethiopia Telecoms launches 5G mobile phone services, and Finland moves towards joining NATO amidst Russia threats. Well, these plus other stories coming ahead in this edition of the news at 2200 hours. I am Fatima Cham. Thank you for joining us. Well, many thanks for joining GRTS News at 2200 hours. Now, Saturday, May 14th, 2022 is slated for the councillorship by-election in the Gambia. 4 seats, 2 in the Kanifing municipality and 2 in the West Coast region, are up for grabs by various aspiring candidates. And as the day draws closer, GRTS's Ibrahim Jallo takes a look at the state of preparedness by the Independent Electoral Commission ahead of the polling day. This is his report.
A month after the parliamentary elections, the Independent Electoral Commission IEC is set for another democratic exercise on Saturday. Pam Makan, the Director of Communications at the IEC, said the ground has been leveled for a free, fair and transparent elections.
So far so good. Everything is in place already. All materials have been provided, they are available, and of course deployment will be done tomorrow. So that the teams will be deployed to their various polling stations. And also in terms of the personnel, they will be trained today. So the training is ongoing right now, I would say. So that I would say we are 100% ready to conduct elections come Saturday, the 14th of May.
Saturday's by-election is meant to elect new councillors in London Corner, Bundung 6 Johnson, Sanyang and Marakisa wards in Kanifing and Bikam administrative areas.
These are the wards in which some of the councillors they resigned previously in order to contest in the National Assembly elections. So as such, these seats are vacant. So the objective of the by-election is to fill in those vacancies.
Meanwhile, there is growing concern over possible low turnout of voters, as in the case of the recent National Assembly elections. The IEC spokesperson explains, citing the importance of local government elections.
In terms of the turnout, the Commission have engaged in some voter education activities in the media houses, on TV, on radio, on newspapers, and even on the social media. These elections are very important because the councillors are the people that are the officials that bring social services to the communities. So I think it's only important that the communities come out in their numbers, the voters in these 4 wards come out in their numbers, and to their candidates who would provide for them the relevant or the necessary services that they need within their various wards.
The upcoming by-election is limited to 4 wards, which will also be part of the general local government elections scheduled for next year. Ibrahim Jallo, GRTS News.
Now, promoting entrepreneurship, the Ministry of Agriculture sensitized smallholder farmers on matching grant scheme. The program under the Gambia Inclusive and Resilient Agriculture Value Chain Project aimed to support small and medium-sized enterprises that are active in the areas of rice, horticulture, cashew, poultry and maize production with requisite information about the application on the matching grant scheme. We have more details in this report by Aminata E. Sanyang.
In a bid to unlock the potential of agriculture and agribusiness sector, the government of the Gambia partners with the World Bank to formulate the Gambia Inclusive and Resilient Agricultural Value Chain Development Project.
The GIRAF is funded up to a tune of $40 million, and it is a 5-year project. It's a 5-year project aimed to support agricultural value chain development, thus help the one to move from subsistence to more productive, inclusive, resilient sustainable and market-oriented agriculture. This intervention will support new approaches that are required to break the vicious cycle of an agriculture and agribusiness sector that has been historically locked into low product.
The project, according to officials, will significantly establish strategic approaches to curtail the low productivity of small farms, periodically facing limited access to finance and technologies.
With government programs and development priorities as outlined in various development blueprints, like the GNI. The project is also intended to reduce gender disparity in agriculture sector that will back female productivity and entrepreneurship through diverse interventions, including the provision of matching grant incentives for productive investment.
The project will also provide matching grant incentives for industrious funds to help intensify output and commercial access.
Would receive SMEs in a great deal because studies have been conducted before this thing could come up, and we feel and hope it would help them a lot indeed. And because here the SMEs, they want to do a lot of things, but some of them are limited with capital or startup or financing. So if there is a grant financing coming up for them, I believe if they put it into good use, it is going to help them a lot. And again, why I have confidence that it would help them a lot, because all SMEs can apply, but we do screening. Yes, we'll do screening at different levels.
The Giraffe project, according to officials, will help in the realization of the SDG 1, which addresses the eradication of poverty and as well transform the agricultural sector from subsistence agriculture to commercial agriculture. Aminata E. Sanyang, GRTS.
Now, officials of the REPGAM project continue on their familiarization tour to project intervention sites across the country. The tour is designed to equip members with knowledge and information on the level of implementation since the launch of the pilot energy program. While members of the beneficiary communities visited expressed joy over the solar power systems set to be installed to address their energy needs. Usman Mane picks up the rest of that story.
The REPGAM project continued their visit to intervention sites in West Coast, Lower River and Upper River regions in day 3 of their exercise. It was a mixed feeling for members seeing the magnificent infrastructural development in Fonyindemban and Kanilai not in use over the years. The TVET and science is now under the radar of the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology to make it a fully fledged educational facility. REPGAM project is a research-based initiative under the UTG, West African Science Service Center on Climate Change and Adapted Land Use, Waskal Gambia office. The multi-million-dollar pilot project is implementing solar energy services to 26 beneficiaries, including public institutions. Kiang Karantaba is among beneficiaries who opted for street lighting. Sabo Agricultural Center would be provided with electricity in all their facilities. Gambia Technical Training Institute is the biggest beneficiaries among the public institutions, as 3 of their campuses in Kanifing, Mansa Congo and Julangel will receive solar energy platforms. Wandi Fati is the officer in charge at Mansa Congo Annex.
Electricity, when it comes to technical and vocational education training, is one of the pivotal areas that cannot be left behind. And we are always willing and expecting new partnership in that area. With REPGAM, definitely we are once again saying welcome.
Amite Senior Secondary School is the oldest public school in the country. Their struggle to access clean water and electricity is unabated. The principal, Sekuna Sibi, explained.
Presently, we are experiencing the same problem of energy shortage. When our AC is not working as expected, though it's on, but you get to the hall, you get to the office, it's very hot. Because we are experiencing low voltage. Like brief Nawe cannot give us the required energy. With this project, we have our fingers crossed that energy would be a thing of the past in the school here.
The project sought to address their challenges, according to Dr. Ibrahim Sonko, and he noted the purpose of the visit.
Because you can see the composition of the team, some those from the accounts department, some from the logistics, and some from the documentation center. So that's the reason why we bring them here today, for them to go around to see all the areas that we intend to support the school. So so far, these people have been trying, they have been doing a lot of mitigation. You can see trees here. At the same time, they also have some solar systems here too. So which at least you people are contributing 2 ways to mitigate the climate change.
UTG, what we are spending on NAWEC before solar is close to over $500,000 on monthly basis. If you put all the campus together. So it's like, this is a huge difference. And when we went to GTTI, the same thing, because GTTI, they have heavy equipment. They are spending almost more than $500,000 on electricity.
Bansan General Hospital is the only major referral health facility in the region, and adequate electricity to deliver effective services is a need, as the administrator of the hospital, Mr. Baji, explains. He took the team on a conducted tour, including places where the solar system would be installed. The familiarization tour continues in other beneficiary communities in URR, CRR, and the NBR. Usman Mane, GRTS.
Well, elsewhere in the Lower River region, the IMVF project recently concluded a 3-day entrepreneurship training and agribusiness startup kit award at a ceremony held in Soma. The forum, funded by the European Union, is aimed at empowering youths with skills and financial support to enable them start a business. Usman Balde has more details.
On the theme, promoting agribusiness opportunities for Gambian youths, the capacity building targeted over 25 participants from TVEC Inside Training Center in Kuntaya in the North Bank region and the Girls Guide Center in Soma, with the aim of enhancing their entrepreneurial skills. In her closing remarks, the lead trainer advisor at IMVF, Kadi Fofana, hailed the European Union for complementing government efforts in providing youths with market-relevant skills.
Our commitment to continue to support you on this journey that we have started together, so that our objective is to see you as a very successful entrepreneurs in the coming 5 years, where it's not just going to be one-man business. But then at some point, you look at your business, you go back to your plan, review your business plan, and say, well, I have to employ one more person to come and work with me on this project. That is our objective. And that is a very important objective for us. And this cannot be achieved without sustainability, putting sustainability mechanisms in place. And from our end, the monitoring is one of the sustainability mechanisms that we are going to employ. You will see our monitoring officers almost every month in your communities to come and see how you are faring in your businesses.
For her part, the Regional Youth Assistant for Lower River Region, Nyangambai, called on her colleagues to make the best use of the opportunity at their disposal.
I am advising all young people, not everybody can sit in the office. You can start something for yourself, and that thing can benefit you with or without grant, because you can only get these grants when they know that you start something. We are thanking EU and IMVF. They've been supporting young people in all regions, especially here in LRR. We really appreciate their support here. They are working closely with the Regional Youth Committee, which we are looking forward to get more opportunities and activities with them that will be geared towards developing young people of the country.
Participant Josina Mendy from the Soma Girls Guide Training Center thanked the organizers for the initiative, saying it will increase employment opportunities. According to officials, selected beneficiaries will receive cash amount as startup capital to support their businesses. At the end of the training, participants were awarded certificates to recognize their participation in the capacity building. Usman Balde, GRTs.
The Media Academy for Journalism and Communications, MAJAC, in collaboration with partners on Thursday, launched a project on ethical journalism training for Gambian journalists in Kanifing. The project is earmarked to enhance the capacity of journalists on the ethics and profession of journalism. Jangetu reports.
There have been an alarming report on number of journalists and editors around the world engage in unethical practices to create sensation and sell papers or increase viewership. This has appeared to be an eyesore for many within the fraternity who continue to frown over the menace. It is for this reason that the Media Academy wants to change the narrative through the launch of this project dubbed Ethical Journalism Training. This came courtesy of the Freedom House. The main purpose of the project is to strengthen the capacity of young practicing journalists on ethics.
MAJAC would ensure that this project is successfully implemented because by virtue of the experience that we have in implementing such programs, we would be able to successfully implement it successfully.
In the Gambian context, there is a high rate of unethical practices in some media houses comprising fake news and other issues such as lack of objectivity, lack of decency, invasion of privacy, hate speeches, and sensationalism. According to officials, lack of professional training and regulation, including political interest, were key factors encouraging unethical practices in the media. This then emphasizes the importance and timeliness of the project.
The role journalism plays in creating positive impact in our society cannot be overemphasized. Because as journalists, we help in the rapid creation of awareness to the public, and we also create platforms for people to shape their views and clearly state their opinions, which as a result promotes divergent and dissenting opinions.
Some of these ethical gaffes are usually committed by people who we think ought to know better, people who have spent several years in journalism or in the media or news business. However, we must change this trend if we want the public to take us seriously.
The training is funded by the U.S. government through Freedom House and MAJAC as the implementing partners. 20 journalists from different media houses were selected to be part of the training. Demba Kande, a representative of Freedom House, urged participants to take the training seriously.
Take this training very seriously. Take the best or the most out of this. We have been very keen on selecting you. We worked around a list of over 100 applicants. It was very difficult, I can guarantee you that. And we have already have very robust plans in ensuring that most of the issues that we see in the media, they are readily packaged and available for you to review and learn from, so that we can make all the mistakes that we or otherwise would make outside in the classroom and correct them.
As the first cohort of the project, the training is expected to start next week and runs for a period of 6 weeks. The participants will now serve as ambassadors to many, as expectations are that they will be able to put knowledge gained not only into practice, but help other colleagues as well. Janket Ture, GRTS News.
Well, time now to take our first break. The news continues in just a moment. Do stay. Welcome back, and over now to some sports, because the Gambia Football Federation has officially launched the broadcast agreement signed with World Football Governing Body FIFA. The agreement allows the World Football Body to air the first division matches of both male and female teams at international level as part of the FIFA Plus project. The contract is set to run from the 2022 to 2026. And the Federation has said starting next season, no TV or radio station in the Gambia or outside will be allowed to show games or do live commentary. GFF said this move will sell the talents of the Gambian players to the international market as well as boost the socio-economic development of the teams. Here is an excerpt.
To have an official partner to broadcast domestic first division male and female leagues at no expense to the clubs, I think this is a welcome development and is going to contribute immensely towards the development of those clubs. They are not going to pay money, but in return, they are expected to generate revenue. This is very, very, very important. From next year, I think we will have all our domestic first division male and female matches on television through the what is called IPTV, Internet Protocol Television. Of course, that is the new norm when it comes to sports broadcasting. And the partners, have already identified a local partner in iAfrica, which is going to serve as the host, the local host, and will be sharing the feeds with the partners to distribute it to their various platforms. There are many benefits other than the revenue that the clubs are supposed to get, because this is also going to expose these clubs to a global audience where our players would be watched by millions of viewers across the globe, and this can only be positive. Where those players who are exposed outside there are people, scouts, clubs, agents who will be watching them, who may not have the opportunity to come to Gambia and watch these players. Then there'll be no struggle of having to film a player's highlights and send to these agents. They'll be watching them, and then this can only lead to more professional contracts, and that can only contribute to the socio-economic development of the Gambia.
The agreement means they have exclusive rights licensed to the competitions, but because this agreement is happening almost in the middle of the season, those clubs and online platforms that are currently streaming the league will be allowed to broadcast them until the end of the current season. However, from next season, no third party will be allowed to transmit any form of coverage, either in part or whole, via IPTV, internet or mobile transmission until the end of the licensing period. I must interject that unless a special waiver or agreement is reached with the contracting party, because anything is possible. But however, we formally write to all clubs to that effect. This event is happening at no cost to GFF. 11 Sports will provide all the technical aspects of broadcast. The projects developed by FIFA to help those member associations whose leagues are in on television by broadcasting them, and at the same time look to generate revenue through merchandising and advertisement to be shared amongst all the parties, including GFF. The Gambia Football Federation will receive 20% of the revenue, anticipated revenue to be accrued or generated in the process. The agreement will avail us the opportunity to have our domestic league broadcast to a global audience, with the revenue generated to be plowed back into football development, especially increasing the Federation's financial support to the clubs.
We'll take our second break now. We'll be back with news from beyond our shores. Do stay. Welcome back, and over now to news from beyond the Gambia. State communication company in Ethiopia has rolled out 5G mobile phone services. This is expected to guarantee high internet speed, 20 times more than the 4G, which is critical in making the country an emerging technology market. We have more in this CGTN report.
The country has launched the 5th generation network in the country's capital, ahead of the competition from new entrants in an industry that has been closed for international players. During the event, the CEO of Ethio Telecom, Freo Tamru, said this is one of the clear indications that Ethiopia is on course for achieving its dream of propelling its technological advancement.
When we say digital Ethiopia, we are not saying it's technology for fantasy purposes, but rather we are introducing such advanced networks to transform the lives of our citizens and create new job opportunities and frontiers for them. We have to use all the benefits of the latest mobile technology in the world for our people to prosper quickly.
The rollout of the technology means Ethiopia now joins the likes of Kenya, South Africa, and Nigeria in introducing and testing 5G network on the continent. Ethio Telecom, which has 64 million subscribers across the nation, said in a separate statement that China's Huawei technology was its equipment supplier for the network that will lead to faster connectivity for video play, gaming, and all-rounded benefit for you.
Start going to smart home and the smart city, starting from our wearables to fridge to washing machine, TV, tablets, everything is connected in our home. And when you make it a smart city, there will be millions and millions of devices to be connected. So this 5G feature will enable us to connect millions of devices in one area.
5G is the fifth generation cellular technology standard, which can provide higher speed, lower latency, and greater capacity than 4G LTE networks. It is one of the fastest, most robust technologies the world has ever seen. The technology is already a game changer, with the telemedicine being one of the key sectors that is likely to benefit from the increased rollout of the technology.
It's very much exciting, to be honest, on the medical field to have 5G. And we are very much privileged to be one of the few African countries who have started the 5G. So in terms of the use cases in medicine, 5G has a lot of exciting things to bring to the medical field. So including the virtual reality, augmented reality, and even for the telemedicine, it has brought a big leap, as it will, the latency is very small, and then the visual is going to be very huge. So people are going to feel like, even with video consultations and all, people are going to feel as if they are sitting beside the doctor. So it will bring a huge leap for the telemedicine as well.
Ethiopia liberalized its telecommunications industry last year in line with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's plan to drive the country's economic growth through information and communications technology. As this is an exciting news, many Ethiopians have to wait a bit longer in order to enjoy all the benefits of the fifth generation network in the country. Experts tell you there are going to be more hotspots that need to be created across the city here in the capital, Addis Ababa, and across the country in order to deliver the 5G network for all subscribers. But until then, whoever has the access to this network is going to get the best out of the new generation network.
Well, digital Ethiopia indeed. Away from that, at least 35 people have been killed after armed men raided an artisanal gold mine in Ituri, in the northeast of the Democratic Republic of Congo. This comes 2 days after the commemoration of the first year of the state of siege in Ituri. Josiah Abbott, head of Office of MONUSCO, Ituri, shared his insight with CGTN. Here is an excerpt.
Which has, I think, about 6 armed groups which are active, and in various degrees, and their activities are, of course, causing suffering to the civilian population. Because of the activities of these armed groups, we have a number of civilians that are displaced from their homes, and I think we're talking about 1.9 million people that are displaced from their homes. Some are in host families, but others are in IDP sites, particularly in the territory which is called Jugu. So that is the situation that we are dealing with here. And as MONUSCO, we are working together with the government to try to see in which way we can help with the protection of civilians in Ituri province. The government to try to deal with this situation, and the state of siege is one of them. And we know that the government has tried very much to bring in more troops into the area. The government has, including, bringing in, troops from neighboring countries, particularly Uganda, to help with the situation of security. And again, we are here as the UN. And what I'll tell you is that we as MONUSCO, we are working hand in hand with the national government to try to improve the situation of, in the province for the civilian population. And we have quite a number of initiatives that we are taking here. First of all, we have our military, which are deployed in various places, which are working with the state security agents to try to improve the protection of civilians in those places. So it is a combination of all these efforts, that hopefully should bring a change, to bring peace in this particular region. So as I said, as MONUSCO, we have the military wing, which is trying to do what they do with the state security forces. We have the UN police that is also making contribution, but also we have civilian sections, political affairs, civil affairs, justice.
Well, Finland's leaders Thursday came out in favor of applying to join NATO, and Sweden could do the same within just days in a historic realignment on the continent 2 months after Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine sent a shiver of fear through Moscow's neighbors. We have more in this report.
Of deliberation, Finnish President Sauli Niinistö and Prime Minister Sanna Marin have endorsed Finland to join NATO, setting the stage for an imminent membership application.
Finland must apply for NATO membership without delay. We hope that the national steps still needed to make this decision will be taken rapidly within the next few days.
The country's foreign minister echoed the statement in his address to the EU Parliament, emphasizing the need for security and protection against an increasingly volatile Russia.
Unpredictable behavior of Russia is an imminent issue. Russia has the ability and readiness to put pressure on its neighbors.
Until now, Finnish leaders saw NATO membership as an unnecessary provocation of Moscow. But since the war in Ukraine, Finland has made a gradual U-turn from its 70 years of neutrality towards its Russian neighbor, with whom it shares a 1,300-kilometer border. Consensus has also shifted in Finland's closest defense partner, Sweden, who is expected to move in tandem with Finland's decision. But joining the 30-member group could be a long one and doesn't come without risks. The Kremlin has already warned of military and political consequences were the Nordic countries to join the alliance.
Further action by Russia will depend on how this process of expansion will look like in the future, how far the military infrastructure will move and how much closer to our borders.
Finland has reiterated that its potential membership would not be a zero-sum game, that Finland bolstering its security by joining the alliance would not be an attack on any nation. After months.
And with that report, we come to the end of this edition of the news at 2200 hours. But before we go, a quick look at our top stories. As Gambians prepare for the councillorship by-election, GRTS's Ibrahima Jallow takes a look at the state of preparedness by the Independent Electoral Commission ahead of the polling day. Promoting entrepreneurship development, the Ministry of Agriculture on Wednesday sensitized smallholder farmers on the matching grant scheme. Plus, in sports, the Gambia Football Federation has officially launched the broadcast agreement signed with the World Football Governing Body FIFA. Away from home, state telecommunication company in Ethiopia has rolled out 5G mobile phone services, and Finland has made a move towards joining NATO amid Russia's threats. Well, that was all in this edition of the news at 2200 hours. Enjoy the rest of our programs and have a beautiful evening. Bye-bye.